Djed Spence's refusal to shake hands with Thomas Partey before the game between England and Ghana is actually a total disrespect, not just to Thomas Partey, but to entire football. Bro, because this thing is actually becoming an attitude problem, other than what a lot of you are actually thinking of. Is Djed Spence better than Declan Rice that actually shook hands with Thomas Partey? Is Djed Spence better than Jude Bellingham? Is Djed Spence better than Harry Kane? These are top England players that have won laurels. These are England stars that are playing for the biggest football club in Europe. But yet, they shook hands with Thomas Partey. In fact, Declan Rice after the game even hugged Thomas Partey so tight. Honestly, this is high time Djed Spence, apologized for his bad attitude towards his colleagues and managers. Last season, this same guy, Djed Spence, did the same thing to his manager, Thomas Frank. I can't remember anymore if it was the first game between Chelsea and Tottenham or the second game between Chelsea and Tottenham. But there was a time Chelsea played Tottenham and Djed Spence and Van der Ven was substituted by his manager, Thomas Frank. Thomas Frank approached this guy, to give him a handshake. That is the video you are seeing on the screen currently. But this guy outrightly ignored his coach. He ignored his coach. And that is why I'm telling you people that this thing is more of an attitude problem. It's more of a character problem than what a lot of you are actually thinking of. Yes, this guy, Thomas Partey, have a case and the case is still in court. He has not been proven guilty yet. So nobody should treat him like a trash. Djed Spence is not supposed to do what he did, ignoring Partey. In fact, the strange thing about this issue is the fact that top English players like Jude Bellingham, Harry Kane, Declan Rice, Reece James have a handshake with Thomas Partey, but Djed Spence is the one refusing to have a handshake with Thomas Partey. That is the problem we have. He has forgotten so fast that he is having the same color with Thomas Partey. He is forgetting so fast that this same England national team he is playing for, that is getting to his head. He has forgotten that him after the World Cup, he might not be called up again. He has forgotten that after the World Cup, they might dump him and forget about him. See, just like I said earlier, Djed Spence need to come out publicly, to tender an apology to Thomas Partey. Because as long as Thomas Partey have not been proven guilty for any case at all, as long as Thomas Partey is not already guilty, has not been found guilty, for any action, for any activity at all, Djed Spence have no right to carry out such, act against Thomas Partey. And I honestly like the maturity some of the England boys actually put off. After the game, you could see Declan Rice, saw the way he was hugging Partey very tight, shaking hands with his former teammate. That is how football should be. That is how footballers should act. Djed Spence has forgotten that this is football. Tomorrow, he and Thomas Partey could become teammates in any club. Tottenham could sign Thomas Partey tomorrow, or Villarreal could sign Spence tomorrow, and they will become teammates. Is that how you keep ignoring him? Is that how you keep showing bad attitude towards him? If they ask you now, you say this and that. We have seen a lot of cases like this that at the end of the day, these people will be found not guilty. They will be found not guilty. So then what will you have to say? Then what will you have to say to such player that you have shown this kind of attitude? That is why they say you should not judge. You are not in the better position to judge anyone. You are not in the better position to judge anyone. What has Djed Spence actually achieved in football? Let's call the spade a spade. Is Djed Spence better than Thomas Partey when it comes to what they can bring to the table? Has Spence played for any top European football before? No. Thomas Partey has played at the highest level with Atletico Madrid before. He came down to Arsenal playing consistently at the highest level with Arsenal. Then one Spence from nowhere would think he can disrespect Partey and go like that. No, that is pure disrespect and need urgent apology. urgent apology from Djed Spence. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people has heard their view on this issue, and I decided not to say anything about it. But seeing the way people are talking about this issue, let me actually pour out my mind. Let me pour out my mind because I'm angry in the spirit, bro. I'm angry in the spirit. I'm angry in the spirit because Djed Spence, a black guy, will actually do this to his fellow black player. This is pure disrespect. It is pure disrespect. And Djed Spence need to apologize to Thomas Partey.